Have you ever considered that the humble seeds sprinkled on your breakfast could decide whether you'll still recognize the faces you love decades from now? Age macular degeneration, AMD, is already the leading cause of blindness in people over 60, and global cases are projected to double by 2050. Yet research shows that very specific nutrients, lutein plus zeaxanthin, plant-based omega-3s, and antioxidant vitamin E can lower the progression risk of AMD and other retinal diseases by 25 to 30% when consumed consistently. Here's what the research shows. Carotenoid-rich foods such as pumpkin supply the retina with optical sunscreen that filters harmful blue-violet light plant omega-3s from flax, reduce the inflammatory tear film damage that leaves many older adults with gritty, irritated eyes. And vitamin E from seeds like sesame or sunflower helps neutralize free radicals before they scar delicate photoreceptor cells. What's happening in your brain and eyes when these compounds arrive is remarkable. Lutein and zeaxanthin concentrate in the macula, a postage stamp-sized zone that lets you read, drive, and track a grandchild's smile, where they dampen oxidative stress at the mitochondrial level. Omega-3 alpha-linolenic acid acts as a molecular building block. Your liver and retina convert it into DHA, the very fat that makes photoreceptor membranes fluid enough to snap focus on light. Meanwhile, vitamin E slots into those same membranes like a microscopic bodyguard, quenching the chain reaction of lipid peroxidation set off by UV and screen glare. The empowering news? You don't need expensive supplements or exotic berries. 3 everyday seeds, affordable, shelf-stable, and easy to add to oatmeal or salad, deliver this trio of retinal protectors in a synergistic ratio nature seems to have perfected. Over the next few minutes, we'll unpack 6 breakthrough insights from ophthalmology and neuroscience, reveal the exact seeds, optimal dosages, and meal timing protocols, and give you simple kitchen habits that can start safeguarding your vision today. By the end, you'll not only understand the science, you'll have a step-by-step playbook to keep your eyes sharp, your independence intact, and your world in vivid high definition for years to come. Here's a common misconception. We lose our vision as we age simply because our eyes wear out. That's not entirely accurate. In reality, much of the damage that leads to age vision decline, especially macular degeneration and retinal thinning, comes from a process known as oxidative stress. This is when reactive oxygen molecules, known as free radicals, outpace our body's ability to neutralize them. Think of your retina as the film in an old camera. It's thin, sensitive, and absolutely vital for sharp central vision. Every time light hits your eyes, particularly blue light from screens or sunlight, the photoreceptors in your retina absorb that energy and convert it into electrical signals your brain can interpret. But here's the catch. This process also generates free radicals. Over time, those unstable molecules can damage cellular structures, disrupt mitochondria in retinal cells, and accelerate degeneration of the macula, the center of your visual field. What's happening in your brain and eyes during this process is a slow burning overload. The macula, rich in cones responsible for color and detail, is particularly vulnerable because it uses a tremendous amount of energy and oxygen. High metabolic demand makes it a prime target for oxidative damage. In fact, studies from the National Eye Institute show that oxidative stress is not just a consequence of aging, it's a trigger for early onset of age macular degeneration, AMD. But there's a protective system in place. It's called the macular pigment, made up primarily of 2 carotenoids, lutein and zeaxanthin. These act like internal sunglasses, filtering harmful blue light before it reaches the delicate tissues of the retina. Unfortunately, our bodies can't produce them. We have to get them through food. That's where the right seeds come in. The second key threat is chronic inflammation, which disrupts the blood-retinal barrier and reduces nutrient flow to the retina. Plant-based omega-3s help regulate this inflammation, protecting the microvascular network that feeds the eye. The age-related eye disease study, AREDS, and its follow-up, AREDS2, confirm this. Participants with higher dietary intake of lutein, zeaxanthin, zinc, and omega-3s had up to a 30% reduced risk of AMD progression. Here's the empowering insight. By simply supplying your retina with the nutrients it naturally uses to defend itself before damage sets in, you can dramatically tilt the odds in your favor. That means reducing glare sensitivity, slowing age focus loss, and protecting the visual acuity that lets you live, read, and drive independently. A simple tool to apply starting today is this. When you spend time on screens or outdoors in bright light, pair it with nutrient-dense snacks that provide retinol antioxidants. Seeds are an ideal vehicle. You're essentially reinforcing your eye's internal shield in real time. Now, we'll look at flaxseed, a nutritional powerhouse that converts into the exact type of omega-3 your retina craves. If this insight is helping you, consider subscribing, because next we'll translate science into a vision-saving protocol you can start using today. Let's start with one of the most underrated science-backed tools for eye health: flaxseed. Small, nutty, and easy to overlook, flax seeds deliver something critically important for your eyes: alpha-linolenic acid, AP, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid that the body converts into DHA, the same fatty acid that makes up the majority of the structural fat in the retina. Here's what the research shows. Your retina, particularly the photoreceptor cells responsible for detecting light, relies on a rich concentration of DHA to function properly. Without it, those cells become rigid, less responsive to light, and more vulnerable to damage from oxidative stress and inflammation. This leads to slower visual processing, trouble with night vision, and eventually thinning of the retinal layer. What's happening in your brain and body is a powerful transformation. When you consume flaxseed, your liver begins converting ALA into DHA, which is then transported to the eyes and brain. The DHA integrates directly into the membranes of photoreceptor cells, enhancing their flexibility and responsiveness. Think of it like oiling the hinges of a door. Suddenly, the system moves more fluidly, more sensitively, and with less friction. But there's a key behavioral insight here. Your body's ability to convert ALA into DHA depends on what else is in your diet. Studies show that when flax seeds are consumed alongside antioxidants like vitamin E or polyphenols from plants, the conversion efficiency improves significantly. That's why pairing a flaxseed with sunflower or pumpkin seeds or even berries is a strategy grounded in nutritional synergy. Now, you might be asking, how much flaxseed do I actually need? The sweet spot seems to be 1 to 2 tablespoons of freshly ground flaxseed per day. Whole seeds often pass through the digestive tract undigested, so grind them just before use. Sprinkle them on oatmeal, blend into smoothies, or mix into yogurt. The key is consistency. Taken daily, this small habit becomes a retinal insurance policy. Another benefit: flax seeds contain lignans, a unique class of plant compounds with antioxidant and estrogen modulating effects that may support vascular health, including the tiny capillaries that nourish the retina. Good blood flow equals more nutrients and oxygen for your eyes. Have you noticed your eyes feel dry or irritated after long periods of reading or screen use? This might not just be a hydration issue, it could be a tear film problem linked to lipid deficiency. Omega-3s from flaxseed can help stabilize this film, reducing that gritty, burning feeling and supporting smoother blinking. Here's a simple tool. Start your morning with a flaxseed habit. Research shows that fat-soluble nutrients like ALA absorb best when taken with food, particularly foods that include other fats. Try this protocol. 1 tablespoon ground flaxseed mixed into plain Greek yogurt or a small bowl of oatmeal. Add a few berries and a sprinkle of sunflower seeds for synergy. This isn't just a breakfast, it's a neuroprotective ritual for your eyes. And if this insight is helping you, hit that subscribe button and join a community committed to evidence-based habits for long-term health. In the next part, we'll break down pumpkin seeds and why they may be the most direct dietary support for the macula itself. Pumpkin seeds may be small, but when it comes to eye protection, they're nutritional giants. Unlike flaxseed, which fuels your retina's structure with omega-3s, pumpkin seeds deliver 2 direct protectors of visual function: lutein and zinc. These nutrients don't just support the eyes passively, they actively defend against degeneration of the macula, the most vulnerable part of the retina. Let's start with lutein. This carotenoid is highly concentrated in the macula and works like internal sunglasses. When blue light emitted by digital screens and sunlight enters the eye, lutein absorbs it before it can damage the fragile photoreceptor cells. Think of lutein as a sponge, soaking up light-induced oxidative stress before it can ignite inflammation. Now, here's what's fascinating. Your body does not produce lutein on its own. Every bit of it has to come from your diet. And pumpkin seeds, along with leafy greens and egg yolks, are among the best natural sources. What makes pumpkin seeds especially powerful is how they pair lutein with zinc, a mineral essential for transporting vitamin A from the liver to the retina, where it's used to produce melanin, the pigment that shields your eyes from UV light. What's happening in your eyes when you don't get enough zinc is quietly destructive. Without enough of it, the retinal pigment epithelium, RPE, becomes less efficient at clearing waste, and melanin production drops. This leads to increased light sensitivity, faster degradation of photoreceptors, and reduced contrast sensitivity, making it harder to read, drive at night, or distinguish faces in dim lighting. The age-related eye disease study found that participants with higher zinc intake experienced significantly slower progression of advanced macular degeneration, especially when paired with lutein and vitamin E. And guess what? Pumpkin seeds naturally offer that lutein to zinc to vitamin E triad. Let me give you a real-life analogy. Imagine the retina as a camera sensor. Lutein acts as a high-quality lens filter, improving image clarity and blocking excess glare, while zinc is like the technician behind the scenes, maintaining the wiring and preventing static interference. Together, they keep your visual camera sharp and stable. So how much should you consume? A small handful of pumpkin seeds, about 30 grams or 2 tablespoons, provides an effective daily dose. To maximize absorption, it's best to roast them lightly, not at high temperatures, which can degrade nutrients, or enjoy them raw if you prefer a softer texture. Here's a simple protocol. Mid-morning or afternoon, when screen fatigue starts to hit, grab a mix of pumpkin seeds and a few almonds. Drink a glass of water or green tea alongside. This not only stabilizes energy and blood sugar, but provides a midday infusion of eye protective nutrients. You can also grind pumpkin seeds into a powder and mix them into soups, salads, or dips like hummus. Have you ever noticed that your vision feels sharper on days when you eat a nutrient-dense meal versus processed food? That's no coincidence. The retina is metabolically hungry. It demands nutrient-rich fuel to maintain its function. And here's the empowering takeaway. When you give your eyes what they need consistently, not occasionally, but daily, you create a protective buffer that may delay or even prevent common signs of visual decline. The often overlooked sunflower seed, rich in vitamin E, your retina's frontline defense against oxidative chain reactions. This simple seed can preserve the integrity of your photoreceptors longer than many expensive eye supplements. Let's explore how. Now let's turn to a quiet hero in the world of eye protection, sunflower seeds. They're more than just a crunchy snack. They're one of nature's richest sources of vitamin E, a fat-soluble antioxidant that plays a critical role in preserving the health of your photoreceptor cells. These are the specialized cells in your retina that detect light and send signals to your brain to form images. Without vitamin E, those cells are constantly exposed to oxidative attacks that slowly erode their function. Here's what's happening on the cellular level. Each time light enters the eye, it triggers a chemical reaction in the retina that creates not just vision, but also free radicals, unstable molecules that damage lipids in cell membranes. Over time, this leads to lipid peroxidation, a chain reaction where the structural fats that make up the retina start to degrade. Vitamin E steps in as a kind of biochemical firefighter. It interrupts that chain reaction, stabilizing the free radicals and shielding the delicate membranes of photoreceptors from destruction. Now, imagine this process playing out thousands of times a day, every day, especially in aging eyes. If there's not enough vitamin E circulating, the damage accumulates. And the result? Blurred central vision, difficulty seeing in low light, and faster progression of degenerative eye conditions like cataracts and macular degeneration. But here's the good news. Just 2 tablespoons of sunflower seeds provide nearly half the recommended daily intake of vitamin E. And when taken with a meal containing healthy fats, like olive oil, avocado, or nuts, absorption is significantly enhanced. This is important because vitamin E needs fat to be transported properly into tissues like the retina. A simple science-based protocol is this. Add 2 tablespoons of raw or lightly toasted sunflower seeds to a salad dressed with olive oil. Or blend them into a smoothie with flaxseed, spinach, and banana for a nutrient-dense breakfast. Not only do you get vitamin E, but also small amounts of selenium and copper, trace minerals that work synergistically to enhance antioxidant activity and support enzyme systems that protect eye tissue. Let's talk behavior for a moment. Many people take multivitamins, hoping to cover their nutritional bases. But the body responds more effectively to bioavailable nutrients from whole foods, especially when they come with their natural cofactors. With sunflower seeds, you're not just getting isolated vitamin E, you're getting a matrix of eye-supporting nutrients that are more easily recognized and used by your cells. Here's a practical tool to build consistency. Keep a small jar of sunflower seeds in your pantry or desk drawer right next to your tea or coffee supplies, habitually adding them to whatever you're already doing. A snack bowl, a soup, a sandwich topping transforms this into an effortless daily ritual. If this is resonating with you and you want more practical neuroscience tools like this, take a moment to like this video or leave a comment that helps us reach more people looking to improve their health naturally and intelligently. Coming up next, we'll explore why the timing and pairing of these nutrients matters just as much as the nutrients themselves, and how to structure your meals to make sure these seeds don't just pass through your system, but actually make it into your retina where they do their work. Let's shift from what to eat to how and when to eat it, because even the most powerful nutrients are only useful if your body can actually absorb and utilize them. And when it comes to protecting your vision, this distinction matters more than most people realize. Here's what the research shows. Nutrient bioavailability, your body's ability to absorb and deliver nutrients to target tissues like the retina, is influenced by several factors, especially timing, fat pairing, and digestive health. For fat-soluble nutrients like lutein, zeaxanthin, and vitamin E, absorption requires the presence of dietary fats to trigger bile release from the liver and emulsification in the gut. Without this step, much of the nutrient content in those seeds ends up passing through unused. What's happening inside your brain and body is a coordinated system. When you eat a meal that contains both healthy fats and nutrient-dense seeds, your digestive system gets the signal to release enzymes and bile salts that emulsify those fats, allowing nutrients to be packaged into micelles, tiny transport bubbles that carry them across the intestinal lining into your bloodstream. From there, the nutrients travel to your liver, then to the retina via circulation. But timing is key. Studies show that consuming these nutrients with or shortly after meals, rather than on an empty stomach, increases absorption dramatically. For example, vitamin E absorption can be increased by over 300% when paired with fats like olive oil or avocado. Similarly, lutein uptake from pumpkin seeds or vegetables increases substantially when eaten alongside eggs, which contain phospholipids that act as natural nutrient carriers. So here's a simple and effective protocol. Combine your seed intake with a main meal, especially lunch or dinner. Include a source of healthy fat, olive oil, eggs, nuts, or avocado. Add a fermented food like yogurt, kefir, or sauerkraut 2 to 3 times per week to support gut bacteria involved in nutrient metabolism. Let's take a practical example. Imagine your lunch includes a spinach salad. Add in 1 tablespoon ground flaxseed, 1 to 2 tablespoons pumpkin seeds, 1 tablespoon sunflower seeds, a dressing made with olive oil and lemon juice. Optional. Add a boiled egg or avocado slices for enhanced lutein uptake. This isn't just a salad, it's a retinal support system. You're strategically delivering the raw materials your eyes need while optimizing the biological environment to absorb them. Another tool, chew thoroughly and avoid rushing meals. Digestion begins in the mouth, and thorough chewing helps break down seeds and stimulate enzymes. The more your food is broken down before it hits the stomach, the better your body can extract the nutrients. Now, let me ask you, have you ever eaten something healthy, like a salad or a smoothie, and still felt tired or unfocused afterward? It might be because the key nutrients weren't properly absorbed. We often think about what we eat, but forget how we eat matters just as much, especially as we age and digestive efficiency naturally declines. This is why rituals matter. A few small adjustments, like pairing your seeds with fat, eating them with meals, and supporting your gut can shift your nutrient intake from passive to powerful. In our final insight, we'll take all of this science and distill it into a simple, actionable daily routine you can follow to protect your eyes naturally, starting today. You'll walk away with a vision-saving protocol that doesn't just live in theory, it lives in your kitchen. So now that we understand the science, what these seeds do for the eyes, how they protect the retina, and how to absorb their nutrients effectively, the final step is building it into your life. Because knowing what works is one thing. Doing it every day with consistency and ease is what protects your vision over the long term. Let's break this down into a simple daily protocol. Something you can do with what's already in your kitchen without needing to overhaul your diet or buy expensive supplements. The goal is to give your retina the 3 pillars of protection it needs. Structural support from omega-3s in flaxseed. Light filtration and pigmentation from lutein and zinc in pumpkin seeds. Antioxidant shielding from vitamin E in sunflower seeds. Here's a foundational routine that integrates all 3. Morning meal, oatmeal, Greek yogurt, or a smoothie. Seed add-in, 1 tablespoon ground flaxseed, 1 tablespoon sunflower seeds. Optional add-ons, half a banana, handful of berries, a drizzle of olive oil, or a spoon of nut butter. Why it works: omega-3s are absorbed well in the morning, and pairing vitamin E with fat improves absorption. You're also giving your eyes nutrients before screen exposure ramps up. Midday, lunch, meal, salad, grain bowl, or soup. Seed add-in, 1 to 2 tablespoons pumpkin seeds. Paired with olive oil dressing or avocado. Why it works: midday is when exposure to sunlight and blue light peaks. This gives your macula protective pigments, lutein and zinc, to filter light and reduce oxidative load. Evening, wind down, optional. Snack, herbal tea plus small bowl of kefir or plain yogurt. Seed add-in, a sprinkle of mixed seeds, 1/4 tablespoon each of flax, pumpkin, sunflower. Why it works: you support digestion, nutrient uptake, and nighttime repair. The eyes undergo repair during sleep, so this fuels the rebuilding process. Bonus habit, weekly meal prep ritual. On Sunday, pre-grind your flax seeds for the week. Store a mix of the 3 seeds in a glass jar labeled Eye Health Mix. Keep it visible on your counter or near your tea or coffee station. What you're doing here is leveraging behavioral science, specifically habit stacking and environmental design. You attach this seed habit to existing routines, breakfast, lunch, tea, and you reduce friction by prepping ahead and keeping it in sight. Let me ask you something. What's your current routine around meals? If you're already preparing food a few times a day, this protocol simply layers in without disrupting your life. It's not about perfection, it's about repetition. And that repetition is what neuroscience confirms creates neuroplastic change. Just like the brain rewires through repeated actions, the retina maintains its structure through consistent supply of these micronutrients. The result: sharper vision, stronger contrast detection, slower visual fatigue, and long-term protection against macular degeneration. It's not just about preventing disease, it's about preserving quality of life. Think about the freedom to drive safely, to read your favorite book, to recognize your loved ones' faces clearly. These small daily choices compound into something much bigger: independence, dignity, and clarity. Now that you have the tools, let's bring it all together. In the conclusion, we'll recap the essential insights, revisit why this protocol matters, and challenge you to take action starting today. If you've stayed with me this far, you now understand something powerful. Your vision doesn't have to fade just because you're getting older. The science is clear. Age eye decline is not inevitable. It's influenced by daily choices. And 3 of the simplest, most overlooked choices sit right in your kitchen: flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, and sunflower seeds. Let's recap what we've covered. First, we learned that oxidative stress and blue light are primary threats to the retina, especially the macula, the small but mighty region responsible for central vision and detail. Every blink under a screen or sunlit sky exposes the retina to oxidative molecules, but your body isn't defenseless. It's built with protective systems macular pigment, photoreceptor membranes, and antioxidant defenses, all of which depend on nutrients we must supply through food. Then we introduced flaxseed, rich in ALA, a plant-based omega-3 that the body converts into DHA, the structural fat that photoreceptors need to stay fluid, responsive, and healthy. Consistent intake of flaxseed supports tear film stability, reduces irritation, and helps maintain the retinal architecture. Next, we looked at pumpkin seeds, a natural source of lutein, zeaxanthin, and zinc, a nutrient trio essential for filtering harmful light, maintaining pigmentation in the macula, and ensuring vitamin A gets delivered to the retina. These seeds directly support visual clarity, especially in bright or low light conditions. Then came sunflower seeds, a concentrated source of vitamin E, which acts like a shield, protecting retinal cell membranes from chain reaction damage triggered by light exposure and metabolic activity. Without vitamin E, those cells are far more vulnerable to degeneration. We explored the neuroscience of nutrient absorption and why it's not just what you eat, but how and when you eat that determines whether these compounds make it to the tissues that need them. Pairing seeds with healthy fats, consuming them with meals, and supporting gut health all dramatically improve the delivery of these nutrients to your eyes. And finally, we mapped out a simple, sustainable daily protocol grounded in science and built around real-life routines. Whew. No supplements required, just 3 types of seeds added consistently to your breakfast, lunch, or snack habits. So here's the reflection I'll leave you with. What you do today will shape how clearly you see the world tomorrow, not just visually, but emotionally, mentally, and socially, because vision is about more than eyesight. It's about connection to the people you love, to the independence you value, to the beauty in everyday life. So here's your challenge. Start today. Pick one of the protocols. Just one, add ground flaxseed to your breakfast, or sprinkle pumpkin seeds onto your lunch, or keep sunflower seeds next to your tea mug and make it a ritual. Do it for 7 days. Notice how it feels. Then build from there. And if this video helped you, or if you're someone who's committed to staying sharp, focused, and strong as you age, join us. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone you care about. This isn't just a channel. It's a movement towards science-backed, self-directed health. Because your health isn't just in your genes, it's in your choices. And it starts, sometimes, with something as small as a seed. Stay well, stay focused, and I'll see you in the next video.